So you like to draw manga and you would like to know how to project and give volume to your 2D drawings using Blender and Grease Pencil. In this next video I will show you how. Gonagai is the author of Messenger C, a giant robot piloted by Koji Kabuto to defend humanity against Mecha Beast from Dr. Inferno. The original series started in the 70s, but the recent 2014 rated R manga series published a much darker story about this robot hero. In Blender, if we use a 3D mesh like this one, you can project your 2D strokes using grease pencil objects like this. I also created one additional layer for drawing the sketches of the volumes in 2D. So the general workflow would be sketching using a 3D shape, sculpting the 3D shape, using then a grease pencil object, and use the surface of that 3D object to start drawing. So let's start from scratch. Let's start from zero using this basic sphere, which I have modified just a little bit, as you can see right here. Then Shift A, select a new empty grease pencil. I'm going to name this drawing. With that said, I'm going to go to the viewport, press tab, and select drawing mode while you have your grease pencil selected. I'm also going to adjust the strength. I'm also going to switch to a pen from the upper menu. You can roll these menus, by the way, with the middle mouse button. I am also going to adjust the viewport so that we can have a white background. Then I'm going to create an additional layer, and the material that we already have here, it's a black material. That is great. Now up here you can see that we have options to create our sketches based on whatever depth we want to use. This will decide the origin creation for the grease pencil strokes. So as you can see right here, I'm tracing first of all the nose, but up here we're going to use surface. That is the one that is interesting for us. But we have a problem. Whenever we trace over the surface, we do not see whatever is behind that surface. So what we're going to do is to open a new shader window, create a new material, and assign a holdout material. Now you go to the options and select the properties to the blend mode for of a blend. And also you check show backface. In the viewport, if you go to the full render view, you will see that your material is actually transparent. With that said, we select back our grease pencil object, and from there press tab and go into drawing mode. From here, we're going to select the surface distance or the offset to be very close to our surface. In this case, I put 0.015, and then we can start to draw. And that's it. Now you have to hold your camera in position to specifically draw in this angle. You will not have any other angle. You can of course rotate the camera just a little bit, like at 5-degree angles. To make things easier, you can open a new window here and then leave your camera as it is right now. I'm going to also create a new sphere because we need a nose. That's why I cannot draw directly in the perspective I need. So I'm going to create this new sphere with only 16 segments, and then I'll switch to sculpt mode to use flatten and grab tools to shape the nose volume. This is important because we want to resemble the shape that we want to project our stroke on. So in my case, I'm going to do a rough pass or just a quick pass using the sculpt tools for flattening, for smoothing, and also dragging. And this is just good enough. You can also rotate your head around or your object around and continue to draw all over your head. This is only showing you a fixed angle, if we can say it that way, because as you can see, the stroke will go all the way around and then it will not work. Of course, with more dedicated time, I can show you a longer video about this, but there are a lot of other Blender videos which have been published already about this topic. I'm just doing this so that you can understand and see how to use the tools. Next, I'm going to draw the hair, and for that I'm going to change the cursor's original position and switch the draw origin to 3D cursor. Now when we draw the hair, all of these strokes are going to start using this reference point from the cursor as we have placed it. This is a very important feature that you have to use a lot when you're creating different volumes in different areas of your all-around shape. As you can see right here, I'm going to start drawing the hair, but I'm not quite getting the correct, overall shape as the original author intended. So what I'm going to do now is to add a new material, which I'm going to be calling sketch. Usually it's a darker blue tint like this one. And then I'm going to add a new grease pencil layer, And from there, I can just switch the material and switch also the layer. And then I'm going to do a rough 2D sketch pass because this looks like a comet. His hair looks like a comet. I'm going to rename this. I'm going to take out the use of lights on the second shape layer, on the grease pencil layers. By the way, a new upgrade is going to come here to the Blender grease pencil layers, and that is coming on Blender 4. So for now, I'm going to just draw this based on this rough 2D shape, and later on I'm going to be adding a new 3D shape so that we can draw on top of that. Okay, so back to grease pencil. This is looking really good. This is going great. I can actually see how much volume this face is getting from just using the sphere, because ultimately, and by the way, patrons are going to get this in a fully 3D model. So if you're interested in getting this kind of model completely finished, don't forget to pledge on Patreon and support me there. You'll get files and also direct replies to how you can do this for your own characters as well. Anyways, let's continue with this, and now I'm using another sphere with 72 subdivisions, and from there I'm just sculpting using the flat sculpt tool to make this very flat, because I'm interested in getting his facial features as closely as I can for the manga reference. So here I'm just drawing the chin, and now whenever I draw my stroke, I should consider the original 3D volume that I have, so that the stroke will, naturally bend towards the jawbone. And this is looking great, but the neck is not working for me, so we need to add another geometry. This is just simple geometry, as you can see. We need nothing else to project. So that's the idea here, just to have a rough shape where we can project our actual 2D strokes using the grease pencil. So whenever you draw with grease pencil, don't forget to select it, press tab, switch to draw mode, and then draw on top of that. Because I have my origin set on surface now. I switched back, not using the 3D cursor, I'm using the surface now, as we did in the beginning. So from here, I'm going to draw the hair, as you can see right here, and it gives the correct curvature result for the face. Now let's do the same thing for the rest of the neck and also part of the suit. And again, I'm just doing this from a fixed perspective, but there's nothing to stop you to go all around the model and continue to do this drawing all around the model. I'm using the transparent because I don't want anything behind this, but if you're going to use a volume which you would like to occlude your shapes, from the grease pencil not being transparent and all, you can switch it back to the original holdout material that we have. But since I want to see through my model, I'm just going to switch this to a transparent BSDF, connect it there, and since I have already all of the options set to transparency, whenever I click on my final render view, I'm going to see everything transparent behind our model. And that's it. That's how you create your basic sketches. Now, there's nothing stopping you from creating and actually modeling this into 3D shapes and projecting all of these drawings, all of your sketches for grease pencil into that object as your final render for your manga. This has been Pure Schiller, and I'm glad that you liked this video. Please don't forget to follow and ask your questions in the comment section below. Thank you very much for your support, and I hope to see you in the next video. And let me ask you something. Have you tried Blender? Try Blender. Blender is powerful and beyond artistry compatible.